again. Because the stream that I didn't think was working apparently is. So here we are. We're back again, family. Apologies. I'll have to delete the other ones. And I thank you all for being patient. So I'm going to try this again. And we're going to see if we can pick up where we left off. Let me go back and check. Okay, so we're going to start this stream again, and I'm hoping that you all will be able to see this, right? Let me see. I'm getting a few options here, so I really was kind of hoping other people would be able to come in, but I don't know that it's going to work that way. So nevertheless, I am here. Please feel free to leave comments. I'll be checking the comments on both devices since this seems to be the only way that I can do it right now. From what I understand, it's buffering, right? So I'm going to stay in the chat and hopefully be able to respond to some of this. But the reason why I wanted to do this this video tonight, this live, was because it came to my attention that there was some negative comments being made about African Americans. And, you know, prior to coming to the Gambia, I had heard something similar, but, you know, for me, I don't go by like what one or two people say. If it comes directly to my attention, that's when I realize that this may be more of an issue than we realized. So if you saw the title, if you want to read the title again, it was, "Are we bringing our dysfunctional behaviors to the Gambia?" Right? So let me just go back because I want to make sure that everyone is following that title that I put up for YouTube. Let's see. Hang on. So we're talking about, are we, as in African Americans, bringing trauma and dysfunctional behavior to the Gambia? And if in fact we are, what does that look like, right? And when I say we, I'm talking about African Americans. What I realized was that these comments were being made that we are land grabbers, African Americans are stealing people's employees, that we create our own communities and separate ourselves. We only support our businesses. And I think every other thing I heard was easily offended, right? Easily offended. So I want to talk about those topics. I was hoping to have some folks come on tonight as part of this chat. I'm really hoping that they're in the chat if I can't get them on, and that they'll agree to meet with me in about an hour on a Zoom link that Sister Leslie provided. If we could get together on this Zoom link in about an hour, then we'll be able to record everyone's opinions on this, and then I can add that to the channel since that was the original idea. What I didn't realize, for those of you who don't know, is that in order to have multiple guests on a number of these different apps, you have to have like certain memberships to these apps, and I'm not a member of these apps because I'm not familiar with them, and I generally don't join things without studying. So I've got some work to do. What I am going to do though is to see if I can see the chat on my other phone, and then I'll be able to respond if anyone wants to add anything to that, right? So one of the things, let's talk about the first thing, which was that we are African Americans are being accused of land grabbing. Well, you know that's not the case with me because, quite honestly, I'm not interested in purchasing land. However, people who are purchasing land because they have land in the States, right? Or they may have been previous property owners, or they want to do projects here where they are employing people. So I'm not really clear why that would be an issue. The other part about the land piece is that I think everyone's missing that, from my perspective, AAs were like kind of last on board when it came to finding out about the land, right? people from the UK and maybe other diasporans knew about the cost of land in the Gambia prior to African Americans. And I don't really know that that information was shared amongst the diaspora. I know I was only hearing of it within the last couple of years, that the land here was so fertile, that it was so inexpensive and so abundant, right? The other argument to that is that there are a number of AAs who feel if we in fact have ancestral ties to Africa, how do you know what land is and isn't belonging to people, right? So, there's a couple of arguments with that. And again, there's people like me who don't want to own here, maybe want to own somewhere else on the continent, or have just decided that that's not the kind of commitment that they want to make in another country, right? Everybody has different reasons for being here. Everyone comes here with different agendas. So I'm just waiting for this to load so I can check the chat. Yeah, this is really slow on my local phone, so let me make sure I'm connected. And I thank you all for bearing with me. So for folks on the replay, you can just rewind and you'll see so far I'm just discussing the first allegation or accusation, if you will, that AAs are land grabbers. I think you have to look at it from all angles to really, before you make generalizations. And mainly also, I wanted to talk about just the idea that, AAs are being grouped, right? When we say African Americans, we're talking about African diasporan people that are in the Americas, right? Whether they were born there or they came there as young children. But we have African Americans who are of Caribbean descent, of African descent, as we know, have Cuban descent. Like there's people in the Americas that came from the islands, that came from Latino areas that also may associate with Africa. So it's hard to really group everyone in, just like it's hard to group Africans into any group because there's 54 countries, right? We have as many diverse groups of African Americans as the continent may have tribes, right? Sure, it's less because obviously Africa is much bigger, but I think you have to take that into consideration as well. It looks like I have some messages coming through, so I'm going to come back on and see what happens now. Let's see. Okay, there's a lot of stuff coming through right now, and it looks like other folks decided to do lives tonight as well. So y'all know y'all got to check out everybody. Luckily, Gambia is big enough for the family. So let's see. I want to see what people are saying in the chat right now because I believe this can be seen. Let's see. And then, I love that I also inspire people, right? Because, some folks you ain't heard from in a minute, but they popping up on YouTube now, probably thinking that this is going to be some drama. But y'all know I always keep it classy. I always keep it classy because that's just what I do. I'm trying to see. See, this one is still saying that it's waiting for me. I'm not sure how to proceed with this. Let me see if I can get into YouTube Studio. I should be able to click on here. Let me see. If I go into my channel. Let's see. Yeah, we going through it tonight, y'all. We really going through it with trying to just get in. I will definitely have some editing to do for the podcast, but I did want to make sure we started talking. So let me just get into my, see. I'm here. Let me see. Okay, it says I started streaming, but I'm not sure that you all are seeing my stream. Yeah, I'm not sure that you all are seeing my stream, so I'm going to keep this going for a little longer, and then I think I'm going to switch to the link. My Lynn Blake family, I'm telling you, sending me a Zoom link. That way I can get everyone on. Okay, so it looks like we might be on. I think it may be buffering on your end. It looks a little delayed, but I'm going to keep going on so you all can maintain and keep following this link. Okay, so we were talking about the accusations that people are land grabbing. We were also talking about the various groups of African Americans, which I'm hoping that you all will get to see once we do the Zoom, and you'll get to hear everyone kind of sharing their opinions and what they've been dealing with here. The other thing would be, let's see, being distant, right? People come here with a different idea of how they want to live. They don't want to live in crowded communities. They also do not want to live in places where there are lots of other people already occupying the space. Many of us, when we say we want a compound, a private compound, we're really talking about us walking in and being the only ones there, unless there's a guard or some animals like your dogs or your pets or whatever, right? So I think here the notion of living alone is foreign to people. When you tell someone you want a private compound, they assume you don't mind that the guard is living there with his 6 kids and his wife. And you do, because it's not going to be quiet. You're not going to get the peace that you want in that kind of environment. So when you come into a space, you want to walk into your space and be there and have privacy, be able to walk around however you want to be dressed, not have people just popping up at your door without calling, right? Because if you're a creator, if you're an artist, a writer, anything like that, like you need that kind of solace and to be able to concentrate. And quite honestly, with the trauma of the West, you really just want to escape. You want to have your own little paradise. And when you want to open your doors and welcome people in, that's how you want to live. So it is an adjustment coming here and seeing that people live together and everybody's in everybody's business, and it's a small place. It's very different. It really is. The other piece of that is, if you have a certain standard of living that you are accustomed to, you're going to want to maintain that standard of living no matter where you go, right? And you figure if you're paying your money or you're building your home the way you want your water pressure a certain way. You want your privacy. You don't want to be bothered with things that are going on in other people's homes, their animals barking, their children playing loudly, their televisions playing. Like, I personally don't even watch TV. Like, I watch YouTube on occasion, and it's only the high vibration YouTubers on their pages, liking their material, sharing their material, because I appreciate what they're offering. People that are consistent, those are the people that I follow. I don't really follow people that are not productive to my journey. I don't follow people who are not supporting what I'm doing. Like, it has to be a reciprocated type of relationship for me to even feel like I'm vibing with this individual. I'm going to follow them. I'm going to support what they do. I love supporting creatives. I love supporting people that look like me. And I don't think that makes me a person that's only catering to AAs. I cater to anyone who is reciprocating, basically, right? So people that say that folks are living in certain communities or living isolated, it's because those communities are most likely offering what people want, right? Like, personally, I don't necessarily want to live in a community that is all repats or all AAs or, all diasporans. I want to live someplace that I have solace. And if that's in a village, that's fine. I don't think it's going to be in a rural area, because that would be like a city. So it's just something to think about, how you want to proceed with that, because everybody needs different things to feel like, they're comfortable in their environments. The other piece is that I went to a community, I think it was called Baraka Estates, Baraka. It was Barakeh. I did a video on it. Check the video out where I talk about a community that I visited, and that community, quite honestly, was what can I say? It was very like cookie cutter, mainstream. Everything looked the same. Everyone was living like right next door to each other. You could look into the person's fence, like it wasn't like a wall or anything like that. That was not my idea of how I wanted to live, but some people will require that, and that's what they'll do. You know, they will live in those environments and be quite content with that. So everyone's different. Everyone requires something different, but that did not appeal to me at all, because that just reminded me of something in the States, you know? So like I said, you really gotta go where you're comfortable. But I know plenty of people who live in different areas that don't really live like right on top of people. They live in environments where they are very friendly with their neighbors that are Gambian, that are from other places. So, you know, what can I say? Everyone requires something different. The other thing I can talk about is the piece where we talked about, let me see, what was one of the other things I said on that thumbnail? We said land grabbers. Oh, stealing people's employees. Let's talk about that. There is a fear here of that. I actually experienced it with another diasporan. You know, I was going to support a business, and the person was very protective of the employees. Apparently, they had had a few bad experiences, and I felt bad that that even has to happen. But apparently, you know, if it wasn't happening, people wouldn't be behaving like that, really. So I don't know if I can speak on African Americans feeling like another African American might try to steal their employees. I know a brother and a sister who have had those experiences where people just kind of came in, started talking to their people, and kind of stole them out from under them, with the idea that they were going to pay these people better or that they could use their talents, which is really kind of foul because, excuse me, which is really kind of foul because I guess that person felt like they trained this individual, they were the ones to find them, and now someone's going to steal them from under them. I don't know, the air is going down the wrong way because I'm not eating anything. Pardon. So, yeah, I've heard about that. I've also seen situations where AAs have gone into establishments and seen people being mistreated and approached the person like, I can offer you a better opportunity and you don't have to deal with being treated like this. That's another perspective, right? Just feeling like it was their duty to advocate for someone. I don't know if that's a bad thing because you can't steal someone that doesn't want to be taken, right? Quite honestly, as an employer, I don't know that I would stop my employee from taking a better opportunity if they felt like someone could give them a better opportunity. Now, someone coming in and intentionally stealing someone, that's a different thing. But someone seeing potential in someone and being able to take them to a higher level or offer them more, so be it. You can't steal someone that doesn't want to be stolen, quite honestly. And I think people are concerned about that. The other thing is, as AAs, we have to be careful not to judge, right? Because we're real quick to do that. I've seen situations where I actually received a call from a brother who was new to the Gambia, and he felt like some employees that were providing a service for him were being paid too little. And so he basically said, like, we need to do something about this. Like, you know, I want to talk about this. And I'm like, I need you to slow down and assess the situation from all sides. You don't know how much the employer is making. You don't know what budget they're working with. You don't know what other amenities they give these employees. So before you start jumping into people's business, like, you need to get all the facts. And before you even really speak on it, get all the facts, right? So that's a different situation. Um, Another piece would be, so let me see, we talked about land grabbing, we talked about snatching employees, we talked about having experiences where folks are being accused of stealing employees. And we know, yeah, we know there's cliques, right? We know there's trifling folks everywhere. And yes, people do bring dysfunctional behavior here. There's a lot of like petty that I've seen. Same stuff in the States that people brought here. And I don't think it's any different here. I think women and men probably do the same thing here as well. I've seen brothers from the West, from the UK, and from the diaspora get annoyed when sisters are not like saying thank you or acknowledging them and doing rude things like they would do in the West. And I wondered to myself, if it was a foreigner or if it was a sister from Gambia, if they would behave the same way, you know? So yeah, people got their own stuff to work on before they start worrying about what other people are working on, if that makes any sense. I see that. And I see what's funny to me is to see people doing interviews where they're talking about, you know, how we have to respect each other and be unified and work together and all it is. But when you see them in these Gambian streets, they don't have a positive word for you, or they're not even trying to support what you do, right? But everybody knows how to show up when they want support or to be around. So yeah, it's a lot of that. I see it. I see it. But, you know, again, I rock with high vibration people and productive people. So if they're not really part of my journey, I'm not really concerned about them, quite honestly. People who were positive and high vibration, they greeted me from the gate, from the time I arrived in the Gambia. And people who didn't, I just assumed they were occupied with other things that they thought were a priority. And I prioritize who prioritizes me, right? So it is what it is. I think that we should not expect things from people that they're not capable of giving, right? And I don't know if that matters whether you're Gambian or if you're American. The other piece of that is talking about, what else? I think we talked about the cliques. Yeah, you know, what can I say? I see childish schoolgirl behavior. And when I see stuff like that, I say to myself, this is someone that was bullied in school. This is someone that was unpopular, had very few friends. And now that they're a little older and they have a voice, they feel like now I can be nasty to people. I can play mean girl. And it's hilarious to me. I just stand back and watch it. I do. Like, you know, it's funny to me. Like, my mom used to say all the time, you know, people who are like really nasty, look at them inside and out, right? Because it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside. If you ugly on the inside, you ugly on the outside too. So when you doing little nasty, spiteful, vindictive things, see, I come from the old school. You know, we ain't gonna do a whole lot of talking. But there's a whole lot of people that like to do a lot of talking here. They always running their mouths. They whispering. They playing little kitty games. And I just be like, let me move on because I have more important things to take care of. Usually when I'm dealing with people, it's about business, right? And, you know, don't get me wrong. We got people on the ground here. They are doing amazing things. And yes, I love supporting businesses, period, all entrepreneurs. I don't just go to African American businesses, but I do strongly prefer to support businesses that are Black owned. If you are a person with brown skin from the African diaspora, I have visited your business at one point or another. And if I haven't, I've supported your business, or I have plans to support your business, or I have visited, or I have shared your materials without you even knowing. Yeah, I do have a preference to do that. And no, I don't just only support AA businesses, but I like supporting businesses where we're doing our thing. How else are our businesses going to keep growing and maintaining if we don't support each other? We have to support each other. Like that's what we need to be doing, right? Because some things you might have, the average person may not be able to um, afford or have access to. So, yeah, we have to support each other. That's how we keep our businesses going. So, if you have a business, get in touch with Win Win, Waste Not, Want Not. I'm supporting businesses. That's what I do, right? We also have the temp agency, my placement, staffing, interns, and we're doing placements with businesses. Young people come into the shop all the time looking for placement, looking for people to work for, looking for opportunities. And so I've been connecting with young people with adults, and different trade fairs and different. So it's coming together. There's opportunities here. And people call me all the time looking for work. So if you're looking for employees, get in touch for sure. And I try to do, I do a training with the young people so that they can understand work etiquette, professionalism, and the expectation of diasporans if you're going to be working for them. If you want to make good money, what that looks like and what expectation comes with that, right? Nothing unreasonable, but there are rules and regulations that we're used to following that we don't want to be like colonizers, but we know what works and what doesn't work as well. So if you're open to that, there's opportunities for anyone to really take advantage of. Um, the other piece of that is I remember coming to the Gambia and asking people, is your business black owned? And people would be like, yeah, like, of course, but it's not, of course, because oftentimes what I've found is that there will be Gambian people working in the business, but the business is not Gambian owned. It is owned by someone from the diaspora, from a European country, and that's fine, but that may not be my preference. That may not be someone else's preference to support a business that is not owned by people that look like us, quite honestly. So for me, I go to businesses where I know there's a small entrepreneur. If I want a wood carving, I'm going to go to that small entrepreneur that I know is trying to feed his family versus the big box store where I can get those carvings less money. I want to help the guy that's trying to feed his family. That's just logical to me. But everyone doesn't think like that, and that's fine. But we all have a choice. And when we exercise our choice, I think that needs to be respected, right? So there's a difference between also being assertive and being aggressive. Being assertive is kind of knowing, what you, having in mind what you want, what you require, and moving with that. Being aggressive is trying to like force it on people. There's a difference. Okay. So when you feel like someone's overstepping, you should tell them, like, I don't appreciate what you're doing or your approach, and let that person really explain why they're doing what they're doing. And don't get me wrong, there are some people that you can't be civil with, right? And there are others that you can. In any case, this is what it looks like. So topics we covered, family, was AAs being accused of land grabbing, of being cliquish and childish. Yeah, there's some of them here like that. And basically, y'all know I say it all the time, basic irrelevant people trying to be relevant. Um, People stealing people's employees. I've heard of it, have not witnessed it. Also only supporting certain businesses. Yeah, that's true. People do have a preference to support certain businesses, and there should be nothing wrong with that. Everyone has a right to do that. And the other piece was living in communities, and that's really more about what you require as far as your living standards, right? Some people can't do the power outages and the this and the that. So they need a certain type of living environment. And, that's their right. That's their right. And quite honestly, why would anyone care, right? Why would you want to be around people that you felt like weren't being genuine or really wanted to be around you? So I don't think it's personal. I definitely think a lot of it is cultural. There's an expectation that we haven't really addressed. And we're going to talk more about that when I get with the group. But right now, I just wanted to give you all a taste of what will be coming. We should have a panel soon with a group of African Americans that are living in the Gambia. We're also going to have a panel of Gambians in the Gambia and their feeling of dealing with African Americans, and Gambians from the diaspora, how they're dealing with living in the diaspora. So I hope you all find that information positive and uplifting. And I will continue to deliver the information in a classy way because y'all know I don't do the low vibration stuff. I state what it is and I keep it moving. But there'll be no gossiping and name calling. So if you came here for that, not the channel for that. We keep it on the high vibrations. And hopefully I will have some new exciting businesses to introduce to you all soon that I've come across. I'm just waiting for folks to finish up their last details. I'm excited for them. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, ALM the Artist. I'm on Fanbase, Anja Africa. You know I'm here on YouTube, Anja Africa 2020. Um, and also the podcast, AA, Exit the Matrix. Podcast is going places. And if you stayed to the end of this video, then you also know y'all will be hearing me on Sirius XM soon. I'll stay tuned for the details. We're going to be taking this to radio. Blessings, family. Thank you for dealing with me tonight. And stay tuned for that panel group that we do on Zoom with the sister. When we get that recorded, I'll be able to upload it. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. I'll respond, and then we'll try to hook up something where we're all on and we can go, word for word, question for question, tit for tat. We can do that next time. Blessings. See you all soon. It's always a joy.